Hello, welcome back to the podcast. I'm going to introduce myself because my dad said he's been listening to the podcast and he's like, well, people don't know who you are. I was like,
Oh,
okay, noted, Dad. So, welcome to Empowered Hearts podcast. My name is Morgan,
my
and,
name is Krystle.
and this is our podcast where we talk about all things spirituality and self-help and guiding you back to yourself and really helping you remember, that who you really are, who you are.
Hmm.
I know that these are like fluffy words, but helping you remember that like you are more powerful than you realize,
Yeah.
that this world is crazy and we don't have to like be a feather in the wind in this world. We can be anchored and have a right to do whatever we want to do with who we are.
Yep.
And really, our podcast is about sharing stories of empowerment, of how people have gone against the systems of the world, if you will, of the like regular 9 to 5, or like gone through trials and tribulations and been able to overcome that. And that's really what this podcast is about. So I thought maybe we would just reintroduce
Yeah.
ourselves since
I
maybe we
love it.
that.
I love it. Episode 46, I believe.
46, yeah.
Yeah. Amazing.
And the topic of today is how to help you guys really discover who you are as an individual.
Mhm.
Um, I wrote a book about this last year and it's being published actually, which I'm really excited about. So, and how I came to write this book was through my own experience of like not knowing who I was. And I would say that's where I've struggled most of my life. Like I struggled with addiction and mental health for a large chunk of my life. And it stemmed from not knowing who I was, not feeling confident to listen to myself. And I know that there are probably like 90% of the population feels this way,
Yeah,
right?
like let's talk about this for a second because when we say finding yourself and everyone's like, well, I am who I am kind of thing, but
Right.
what does it actually mean? It's like, have you ever thought to yourself, like, I just don't fit?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's like relating to something feels challenging.
Yes.
I definitely noticed a point in my life, and I've talked about this multiple times, but when my brother said to me, like, what is it that you like to do? I
Mm,
was like, oh, I don't know.
yeah.
And I think that that for me was the moment of like, holy crap, I really don't know who I am.
Hmm.
I haven't taken the time to learn about me.
Yeah. And I don't think any of us, a lot of us don't. Like, I would say even like I don't want to speak for men, but like I know for a lot of women, right? We get in this role of being the good girl, right?
Mhm.
Of like wanting to be like a good daughter and like a good student and like a good friend, a good mother, as you know, as we grow up. Like
Yeah.
be the good. And what happens when we do that is we completely deny our own needs, and then we
Yeah.
have a life crisis and are like, well, now what?
Yeah. And it's almost like you are indoctrinated to believe as a small girl that one day I'm going to be a wife, one day I'm going to be a mother, one day, before you even figure out, is that what you want?
Mhm. Right,
It's like you think that that's who you're supposed to be.
right.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and like that can shape people, right? To have
Hmm.
children when they don't want them, or like
Yep.
um to get married to the wrong person. Like then
Yep.
again, then you're like again 40 and you're like, what am I doing? And there's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with that. I mean, that's
No.
really where this midlife crisis term came from, right? You live half of your life inauthentically, and then you hit 40 or around 40 and you're like, wait a second, like what am I doing?
Yeah. And then it becomes unlearning everything that you've learned,
Yeah. And
which really brings you back to the true essence of figuring out who you actually are and why you're here.
And Krystle and I both work with clients in this capacity. Like all of my work, working with the subconscious, is all about really helping you as an individual remember, oh, I'm not these stories that my parents told me. I'm not the way
Mhm.
society like put on me. Like, wait a second, like, oh, like the way I felt when I was 5, I had a right to feel that way and to
Mhm.
really like reclaim like reclamation of self, right? And that's what you do as well, just in a different way.
Yep. Yep. And working through the energy centers and releasing like old belief systems in the chakras, which is very similar to what you do, but yours is all about the mind and mine's all about the body.
Yeah. Energetics. I mean,
Energetics.
it just depends. Like mine does turn energetic as well.
Yeah.
It like, it just depends. Like I could be in a session with somebody doing inner child healing, which is mostly what I focus on, but then we could go to a past life and now we're doing energetics. Or
Yep.
we could go up to like the astral realm and we are now talking to like somebody's spirit guides and it
Yep.
like it can go in that, but it's just different. Like I don't know how to explain it. Like it's like
Yeah.
instead of me doing energetics on somebody,
Yeah.
I'm guiding somebody to do energetics on themselves.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So fascinating.
Oh,
I love what we do.
I know. I'm obsessed with it.
I love it.
So yeah, like what does it mean to find yourself? What does that mean? I will say it really means listening to ourselves. And that can be extremely challenging if you've never done that before, right?
Yeah.
What does that even mean? Like that's even like another rabbit hole of a question.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hmm.
So what does it mean to find yourself? It means to listen. Well, what does that mean? What does listening to yourself mean? Because we're so disconnected from ourselves, right? We don't even know how to listen to ourselves. So,
Hmm.
ways to do that, I'm sure you'll agree, but I'll just share my 2 cents, is obviously meditation, right? Getting
Yep.
quiet. I think, a lot of people have a misconception of like, okay, I'm meditating, I'm trying to get somewhere. And it's like, no, it's the like when you close your eyes and you're fidgeting and irritated, that is the point
Yeah.
that you want. Like the point of meditation is to sit through the fidgeting and irritation until you're quiet.
Yeah.
And if you can't get that far, that's okay. But it's like witnessing, oh, I'm fidgety, I'm irritated, I'm don't want to do this, my mind's talking too much, like la 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 la, la, all these things because and being able to witness that. And when
Yeah.
you can witness that, that means you're listening to yourself.
Yeah. It like meditation is literally awareness.
Yeah.
It's
It's
just
like
a form of awareness.
it's like the practice of presence,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
And like if there was like a couple weeks ago where when I was like all over the place and I like hadn't meditated for a week, which is very bizarre to me. And then I sat
Yeah.
down, I was like, I hate this. And I was like, whoa. I'm like, this is what it feels like to not meditate. Like when people don't meditate, this is what it feels like just being in complete resistance of sitting still. And but like if you do it enough, it just
Hmm.
you can get it, you can like click into place easier. And I
Yep.
found what was really helpful was like literally imagining I could see air going through my nose and like down my lungs.
Hmm.
Like I did that maybe for 10 minutes and then I clicked in and I was like, okay, I'm back.
Just
Like,
like focusing on something that's
yeah,
neutral.
yes. Like
Yeah.
I had to really like drive my focus to do that because
Yep.
if not, I was like, this is dumb. I hate this, blah, 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 just in complete resistance.
It's interesting because when I wake up in the morning, I usually do a meditation first thing in the morning, and it's like instant connection
Mhm.
because there's nothing going on, right? But yesterday, I was like, I just feel off. I'm gonna go take half an hour and sit in meditation. And it was like there was so much going on that I noticed myself resisting sitting in it.
Mhm.
It was like, okay, just focus on the present, focus on the present, focus on the present. It was like I had to consciously work at calming my mind.
Yeah.
Whereas if when I do it in the morning, it's like it's so simple and I can drop in and have like a 45-minute meditation. There's no resistance.
Not like that. What I like, I don't know if it's since this trauma. I mean, it might be since this trauma I experienced last year. Um, it takes me a really long time to like wake up, and apparently
Yeah.
this is normal of trauma. Um, so like I'm like groggy in the morning. I'm like
Yeah.
not with it, and like I know that we've talked about this, and you're like, well, that's
Mhm.
good, because you're just like I'm like still kind of in alpha theta,
Yeah.
but I find like it's like not a quality medit. Like I can't channel like that.
Yeah.
I am a channeler at night, which is not good.
Yes.
If you're a night channeler and you're listening
Yeah.
to this, it's fun. Like I can go to lots of places channeling at nighttime. Like I'm my night owl,
Yeah.
but then I can't sleep. So
Yeah. It like wakes you up because
oh,
it's very masculine
yeah,
and you're letting in that high frequency that you're not grounding.
yeah.
And so that's probably why you don't sleep, Morgan.
Hmm.
FYI.
I've been doing better.
Good.
So yeah, what else do you think it means to listen to yourself?
I was just thinking about this because when we really start to tap into what our mind is telling us and like tuning into our body, I feel like tuning into our body is important, which is one of the things we can do when we sit in meditation. Like when you really take a moment to stop what you're doing and start like embodying the human being of just being, and you like notice your body and all the pieces and like what it feels like and where is it tense, are you hungry, are you thirsty, are you tired, are you energized? It's like that is another element of really learning to listen to ourselves and meet our needs, which I think is like should be top priority. We should come first. Our needs should come first, which is something that was never taught to us. Is like pushing it to the side. It's like you've always felt like you're somebody who has to like run on caffeine and go and accomplish XYZ to feel accomplished at the end of the day and successful. And well, I did all this stuff and now I can rest. It's like, what if you're meant to be the complete opposite?
Mhm.
And you're taking more time to rest, which is more productive to you because you're more productive in the things that you're doing. So it's just like learning through listening to your body, listening to your needs, meeting those needs, leaving the guilt, the shame, all that old programming behind. Like if you're mid-afternoon and you're fucking tired, take a rest.
Yeah.
Like don't have another coffee and push through. It's like these are the things that we've learned to ignore that create illness in our body, that create restriction in our energy. And it's all about it coming back to like listening to yourself, I feel like is definitely step one.
Yeah. I mean, it is so challenging because the world runs on this stupid 9 to 5 clock, right? Like at
Yep.
least we do in North America and Europe for the most part. Let's just say North America. I mean, part of Europe does, but it's like this stupid 9 to 5, which was never created for the people working. Okay, let's talk about this. The nine
Yep.
to five schedule was created so that businesses could bring in the most money, right? And it's now been
Right.
indoctrinated into humans that like that's what you're supposed to do to be successful. If
Yep.
I'm doing that. And like then we're all feeling shitty about ourselves because we're exhausted. It's like,
Hmm.
no, the world has created an unfair system and now you feel like shit about it. Like, why don't we it's like it's tough. Like I'm not saying breaking out of the 9 to 5 matrix is easy. It is not easy because it's like, well, what do you do? Starting up a business is not easy. We both
Well,
know.
it's scary to a lot of people. Like you're telling me I'm supposed to quit my day job and then just like throw spaghetti at the wall and think it's all gonna work out.
Right. I mean, that's how all these companies started, right? Like
Yeah.
think about it, like everything started like that from somewhere.
Yeah.
And but it's the nervous system that is like, I'm gonna die, so I can't do that. Who am I to do that? Like, there's
Yeah,
so many stories that go with it, and I just want to like validate anybody who's listening to this that like if you have wanted to go out on your own and you're scared shitless, that like you have a right to feel that way. It is
absolutely.
not easy. It's hard, and we're not really taught, like if you think about when we go to school, we're as children, we're already in the 9 to 5. Like
Yeah,
it's just so cleverly done right now. What came first, the chicken or the egg? Like the jobs or the school system doesn't matter. What matters is that it's all blended.
yeah,
Parents are at work, kids are at school learning that they should be at work. Like what? Like, like, if I
yeah.
had children, I'm telling you right now, if I had kids, they would be in an unlearning program. I would never send my kids to a school system, to the school board ever.
It's interesting because my kids for their entire life have fought school and have hated it.
Me too.
Hated it. It's like every day, Caden will sit at the table because they both do like online school at home. And he's like, I just don't understand why we have to learn this. Like, why am I sitting here wasting my time learning crap that I don't even care about and I'm never going to use like trigonometry and like
Jesus
algebra and all
Christ.
this, right? And he's because he is. That's exactly what it is. Is like from day one, they're like, F the systems. This is not how it is. And I don't want to live like this. I just want to go out and be who I want to be. But he's also a manifester.
Is
So he is. Yeah.
Oh, my neighbor's a manifestor, Hannah, and
Yeah.
I love being around her because she has had her own business, and I think, I don't know, she's 32, so like I think for like almost 10 years, like she just was like, no,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not doing that. Like,
There's no rules for a manifester.
no,
It's pure freedom. So
yeah,
anything that's like external that's trying to like cage Caden in, he's like, no,
that's
I'm
so
not
funny
doing this.
because my dad's a manifestor. He just,
Really?
yeah, which is
But
like,
he's not living in his highest, maybe.
no, that's right.
Yeah.
But part of
Yeah.
him is though, because like he owns buildings and like properties, and he
Yeah.
only works 3 days a week instead of like five.
Right.
And he just was like, man, I'm doing it my way. So I guess in that sense, he's just
Yeah.
like, I'm not going to do more than I need to.
There you go. Yeah, exactly. And he's been like, I mean, successful,
I mean,
like financially.
yeah, like it's random. I wouldn't say
Okay.
like, yeah, like I don't know. I wouldn't say like the most successful, but like somehow I hope he's not listening to this. If he is, hi, Dad. I don't know, like he's figured it out, right?
Yeah.
Like he has figured it out. So
Yeah,
I,
and Bella's a generator, which is
um,
interesting. We got a manifester, a generator, and I'm a manifesting generator. So I just find that's fascinating.
yeah. If you guys don't know what we're talking about human design.
Yeah.
Look it up. If you just Google, I think it's My Human Design, you can make a
Yeah.
profile. It is free. We're not sponsored by this, I'm just saying. But you can sponsor us if you want. Calling that in. And anyways, yeah, you can make a profile and figure like input your birthday the way you would in like as a natal chart, put the time of your birth if you have it, and then you can figure out what human design you are. We've had somebody on the podcast to discuss like the different
Hmm.
parts of human design. And essentially what it is just like astrology, kind of like anybody who does human design would probably slap me if I said that, but for a simple explanation, it's just to help, again, going back to how to discover who you are,
Yeah.
human design will help you understand your energy type. So, for example, there are different, like 5 different ones. The
Hmm.
most common in this world are generators, and they are the type of energy that can go all day
Hmm.
long, kind of
Yep.
like consistent sacral energy, like, the 9 to 5er. But
Hmm.
then there's you and me. I'm a projector, which is like, I always think of it like it's a Buddha who sits on the top of a mountain who has gathered all of this wisdom, and you come and see them and they like tell you this very important piece of wisdom that'll change your fucking life. But
Yep.
the projector's job is to go out in this world and like learn all these important lessons to gain this wisdom to then tell you how you can help your life, right?
Yep.
So I would not say like I'm the one to be working a 9 to 5. Like that is not for me. I definitely have done it, and because I'm an overachiever, that's 11, 11. Because I'm an
Ooh.
overachiever, I will, I'll do like my old job, I did 13 hours a day. Like I was crazy in that sense because I took things, I cared about them, but it's not my highest good to do that. Like
Okay, so let's talk about that for a minute. So you worked a 9 to 5, but it was actually more like a 9 to 10.
yeah, it was a minimum, it
And
was like a 12-hour day.
like let's talk about like your health, your mental health, your physical health when you were in that space.
I think that I'll be honest, my ego and my like sense of wanting to belong fueled it, right? So I wasn't listening to myself. I
Yeah.
was exhausted, and eventually, like through this sexual harassment, which did happen from the person who ran the company that I worked for, after when that happened, like my mental health completely plummeted. But during the period prior to that,
Hmm.
I think that, and this is what can happen with anybody, it's like what my driver to belong and my driver to fit in and to like have a sense of identity was so strong that I couldn't listen to myself because
Yeah.
the the need to belong was stronger.
Which is part of a projector too.
Yes.
Yeah. And so it's interesting because once you started to realize that how much you absolutely hated what you were doing.
It's funny, I didn't even hate it. Like I am I think because I'm good at it, I enjoyed it. Like I enjoy
Mm,
organizing things. Like
okay.
you don't catch me organizing someone's house, but
Yep.
like, to organize paperwork, I'm good at it. Like I'm because I'm like in an intellect. Like I'm very verbal. I'm an intellect. I'm an overthinker. Like I'm very mental. Mental, like using like working
Yeah.
my mind is my skill. So I am good at it and I enjoyed that part of it. It like did satisfy the part of me that needs to work with the mind. Like I can type all day. Like I like that. I'm like, this is fun.
Oh my God.
That's why when
That's not for me.
you're like, I have to do my books. I'm like, I wish I could help you. Like, I would love
Uh,
to organize all your paperwork and do this thing and this. Like Jay asked me yesterday to like do something for him. And I was like, I'm on it. Like, I will type this up for you, no problem.
okay. There was a point when something shifted in your energy with your job, and you were like, this is not what I meant to do. Do you remember that?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, I think,
And then it was like, you knew one day you were going to have your own business,
oh,
but
yes,
you
yes.
didn't know between point A and point B. And then the universe is like, we're going to push you out of this. This is not who you are. And we are going to align you with who you're supposed to be.
I'm just writing this down. How the universe helps you in your alignment.
And
Okay,
then everything started to crash
yeah.
and burn.
So what happened? Like I mean, I think I've talked about it on the podcast before, but I was very emotional, and I'm much less emotional around this now. I'm sure this will be triggering, but it's okay. Um, yeah, like I had been actively working on starting my business since 2020
Hmm.
through healing myself, through shadow work, and then like maybe through energy work, and then like maybe or maybe not 2020, like maybe 2021. I was like
Hmm.
do this for other people. So that was like the after the first year of like really, really, really like after I'd already been sober for a while, 2020, I woke up spiritually to be like, wait a minute, what you telling me I can't go to the store? Like I have to wear a mask? I was like, no. And so it
Yeah.
really woke me up to recognize that this like it shattered my reality in the best way
Yeah.
possible. So anyways, I'd done all this healing work and I wanted to it like so profound that I gained so much wisdom of my own that I wanted to do this. So let's say 2021, I'd been working on starting a business, learning, how do you speak on camera? What do you talk about? How to publicly speak, like how to build a website, all these things, over the course of the time. So 2023, I guess, was that when we met?
Yep.
Yeah, so 2023, Krystle and I were in like a mastermind on how to start your own business. And
Hmm.
so, I'm still plucking away at like how to gain confidence to hold space for people because it is a skill, right?
Hmm.
Not like it's just like going to school to become a therapist. Holding space for people in the capacity that I do, it was a skill I had to learn.
Hmm.
For you as well. Like it's just,
Yep.
it's like shifting your mind, right? Like to understand how to step out of your comfort zone and be a leader was really, I think, what we were learning, like how to be a leader.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, and I just was like banging my head against the wall, like nothing was working, but it was like
Hmm.
slowly coming together. And that's what happens, like when you start a business, right? And you become a match for certain things. So the more that you gain confidence, the more
Yep.
that like your reality, your life will mirror that to you. Be like, okay,
Yep.
you gained this confidence. Here's a client, or like, here's an opportunity to speak publicly, or like I was on that documentary, like things slowly started to come together. And then, yeah, like I'm just like, where's the time gone? I'm just as I'm like thinking about this.
It's crazy.
So 2023 into 2024, we were in this mastermind, and then I at the very beginning of 2024, the company I was working for, the boss, like the owner, sexually harassed me, and it really fucked me up, like
Yep.
so much. So like it wasn't like one comment. It was like I was hounded for hours through text message. And I didn't like, and I had like a nervous breakdown that day. And I left work. Anyway, I came back. I tried to work. I had to take a week off. And then I continued to work, and my mental health plummeted. And as this was happening, like I became suicidal, like not suicidal, but I had suicidal thoughts. I was extremely depressed, anxious, couldn't do I was sleeping from Friday after work at like 4 p.m. until Monday morning. Like I wouldn't get a
Yeah.
shower, nothing. Like I was depressed.
Yeah.
And and then eventually, I had to tell them like this is what happened. I had to like go to his bosses, and like now there's a whole thing about it. I won't go into further detail what's going on now, but whatever. And so, but at the time, I was like, because I am like this wisdom person, this is just how my brain and energy works. I recognized that this was the universe helping me
Hmm.
become aligned in my life. It was like,
Exactly.
this is not for you to
Yep.
waste your talent and who you are at a 9 to 5 or 12, 9 to 9, or
Hmm.
essentially 6 to 6, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Some days I'd get off earlier, but that was like the gist of it. And yeah, like I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to heal from this, which I'm still
Yep.
healing from. But I looked at this as an opportunity to like really learn things about my business, about like who I want to serve. And so, yeah, like the universe will assist you in
Yep.
aligning with your true path, but it's your job to listen, right? So there could have been two roads in this scenario. I could have taken the victim mentality position and been like, why did this happen to me? Life is not fair. Poor me. How am I ever going to survive? And there's no judgment with that.
Yep.
Or, I could have taken the higher road, which is what I did because I truly believe everything is for us and not against us. And I
Yep.
was like, okay, this is really shitty. And I don't even know what I'm in for to heal from this, but I see this as an opportunity to work more on my business when I have capacity. Like, it
Yep.
wasn't instantly, but it was just like when I can. And then I did.
You did.
And, so I think it's really important to note like the listening part here. Like,
Well, so then you were seeing a, some like you were going to hypnosis for yourself for your
Yes.
own journey,
Well, I had to.
and then you had the opportunity to sign up to take it,
Mhm.
and you did, and that wasn't long after.
No, it was a month.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like look how fast that happened for
I
you.
know. And sometimes we forget, right? Like a really good thing that I do for myself, and I always tell my clients, like, so here's like a really good practice, like I always will tell people, is reflect on everything you've accomplished for the past year. Like if you're going through like a freak out, why don't you just like reflect not on anything you failed, but like little things. Like I did my sheets twice a week, or sorry, twice a month, every month. That's an accomplishment. I wrote a book. That's a fucking accomplishment. But it can be
Yep.
little. It can be like I cook dinner every Sunday or
Yeah.
every day,
Yep.
right? It's like reflecting and like, okay, was it in alignment with me? And when we say that, what we mean is like, was this something that I actually wanted to do? And so a way to like find that out is to like close your eyes and ask yourself, you know, okay, do I want to cook dinner tonight? And not my guides just answered me. They're like, yes, you do. But it's like you want to not answer out of what you normally do. Like, if you were a child, I want you to answer from that voice. Do
Yep.
you want to cook dinner tonight? Do you feel like it? When kids are like, I don't feel like it. That's who you want. The person inside that you want to speak to is the
Yep.
inner child because they are running the show. They know
Mhm.
what they want, and that's who you want to get connected with to know who
Mhm.
you.
Yeah.
If
And
the
that's really the essence of it.
Yeah, if the little
You,
child was like, I don't want to cook dinner, okay, then you don't want to cook dinner. Like, I don't
yeah.
like the color purple, then you don't like the color purple. Like, you
Yeah.
listen to that voice.
Not, it's interesting because you look at it now and you like pay attention and you're like, well, I was told that purple looks good on me, so I guess I need to like purple.
Hmm.
Right? There's a
Yes,
difference. It's like, what have you learned to believe as opposed to what do you actually want and believe deep down inside? It's like starting to like shut out the external world and like going inward.
yes,
That is really the essence of who you are and who you came here to be. It's like we always talk about the soul knows the way. The soul is you. It's the essence of you, and you are so uniquely created. Like they say, like a snowflake or like a fingerprint, like you will never have the same fingerprint as anybody. You are so uniquely different that when you start to tune the world out and you start to listen to yourself, you're like, you know what? I'm pretty cool.
yeah.
Like I'm pretty, I have all these really amazing qualities that I don't really know that anyone else that has them.
And
And
I
you,
think it's like the rare combination that we each have of different qualities.
yeah,
Like, you know, a lot like I'm very unique, okay?
yeah.
But we all are. The
Yeah.
difference is that I've owned my uniqueness since I was a
Yeah.
kid. It's like it's just that I didn't conform. So like people will think I'm really unique, but it's not that I'm unique. It's just that I have no problem being who I am. I have
Because
no
you're authentic.
Yeah, because I'm authentic. So
Yeah.
being the weird different kid like is my strong suit. Like I'm just like I like everything about who I am, no matter how hard I tried to fit in, it's impossible. Like I showed Krystle a picture of me
Yeah.
from when I was 16 the other day, and I was like, look at this dress. Like I just always had to stand out and like maybe not in the best way. Like I look like I was wearing a tablecloth, but I was like,
Well,
I'm different and I like this.
well, and you own it, right? And this comes
Yeah.
back to like, you're not supposed to fit in.
No, like what does that
We're,
even mean? What does
I
that
know.
mean?
I know. So when we feel like we don't fit in, it's that we don't have something that is really like like it's I think it's actually, you know what it is? It's that we don't feel accepted.
Mm,
That's what it is because we want other people to validate who we are.
right.
But that comes back down to self-acceptance because when you own yourself, your authenticity, who you are, you will always be accepted by others. Not always by everybody, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
You will find your people.
And that's a challenging part about definitely about connecting with yourself. You may lose people. Like I don't want to like ever
Yes.
and lie and be like it's an
Yeah.
easy journey. It's not an easy journey, but it is a rewarding journey
Yeah.
because when you do meet your people, you are like, oh my God,
Yeah.
holy shit. Like when you meet a partner that's, you know, a match for who you are because you're authentic, it's so easy. Like
Yeah.
meeting when you and I met, like I'm like this,
Yeah.
like,
Easy.
yeah,
Yeah. It's easy. And that is how you know. It's like you meet somebody, the relationship feels rocky, you're constantly guessing yourself, questioning yourself. It's like it's not lining up. That is not a match.
no.
But it is showing you something about yourself because that's what relationships are. So this goes back to like self-reflection again. What am I learning within this connection?
Mhm.
Which is also important. Like some people are meant to be in your life only for a season.
Yes.
So if they fall away, it's okay.
I know. I'm like, we have this
It can be
again,
hard though.
of course. And we have this like again going into the systems like of the world. And if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, I mean when I say the systems, I mean like the governmental systems that we operate in as a society, meaning we need to go to school. We need to
Yeah.
get a 9 to 5 job. We need to have children to be a woman, or like we need to get married or whatever and have like a white picket fence. Any of this, you need to become a doctor to be successful. Like this would be
Yeah.
what it sounds like when the systems start to like screw with us, which it happens often.
Yep.
But we have this idea that we have to be like married to one person forever. And
Yeah.
a lot of pressure,
Yeah.
like it's like, oh, we found the one. Well, like the one, what does that mean? Like
Yeah.
I'm not against that, but
Yeah.
I think it's a lot of pressure to be like, there's only one person that'll ever be with me, and they're the one, and we're gonna have a perfectly happy family. Amen. It's like, okay, well, right now they're the one, and
Hmm.
like let's just enjoy that.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't plan ahead.
No, like right now, who I am, this person's meant for me. And it like
Yeah.
sometimes people grow apart and it doesn't mean that they were not the one. It just means that like, and you're not a
Yeah.
failure for that relationship,
Yeah, let's
you know?
normalize that because you know
Yeah.
what? There's this big stigma that, if you get divorced or if you break up, you didn't try hard enough or you didn't do the work. Like that's not true. That's not true. Sometimes, like in the grand scheme of things, that person that you were with has taught you everything that you need to know as a soul to evolve. And so that's where that journey ends. And a part of that journey is the healing aspect of it, right? So it's like you come up against a wall and you're like, okay, this isn't right or whatever, and you end it. Then it becomes like this journey of healing yourself again, right? Healing yourself again so that you come to a place where you've dealt with like your core wounds, your past traumas, all of the things to get to a point where you meet somebody that is actually in alignment with your highest path.
Yes.
That is different because it's no longer a karmic relationship that is teaching you your core wounds that you came into this life to learn. It is like divinely guided for you, that like mirror reflection of unconditional love.
Yeah, let's talk about, I know this is like kind of not on the topic of how to discover who you are, but it kind of is. Unconditional love, like we hear that, and because
Yeah,
again, I'm such a mental person, I have to pick everything apart because I'm like, what does that
me
mean?
too. Me
You
too.
know, like what does that mean? Unconditional love.
Get to the
What
bottom of it.
let's get it, like let's rip that apart. What
Yeah.
unconditional love actually means is, and I know this might sound obvious, but it's not. It's literally loving without condition. Now, what
Yeah.
does that mean? That means that there are this puppet of strings that we have in relationships doesn't exist.
Mhm.
And for me personally, I had like growing up with my family dynamic, I had never experienced that
Yeah.
because everything was codependent. It's like, I love you and you better love me and you better fill my cup up and I'm going to love you, but you better serve me. It's like,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of relationships we get into because we have it because we're so many of us are insecure, not a fault of our own, but again due to childhood and
Yep.
grow up with these wounds, and then we look for other people to fill those wounds up,
Yes, which is conditional.
which is conditional. So
Yeah.
unconditional love is being a whole person, or even if you're a person with holes and wounds, which is
Hmm.
most of us have,
Everybody. Yep.
but not using another person to fill those parts. So,
Exactly.
like everybody, people are there's severities of insecurity, but I'm going to say to the most part, in probably everybody's insecure in some capacity, right?
Yeah.
But it's
Hmm.
like managing your nervous system and managing your emotions on your own, not projecting to the other to fix it. It's
Yep.
like taking accountability for being insecure, taking accountability for overthinking, or whatever the case may be. Be
Hmm.
like, oh, I don't trust this person. Okay, do you not trust that person or do you not trust yourself? Like,
Yeah, or like you insecure about something that makes you not trust this person.
right. And again, coming back to the self to do the work with yourself. I'm just going to pull a question up from my book to share
Yay.
one question, maybe a two. Just some things like to ask yourself, like if you're like, I have no idea who I am, and
Hmm.
this is like a really beautiful way to do the work is you can be very vulnerable and stand in front of the mirror, not looking like make sure you're wearing clothes in the beginning. I don't want you looking at your body or picking your face apart or being like, oh, my hair doesn't look good. No,
Hmm.
we're looking in our soul, in our eye.
Right in your eyes.
We're looking at who we are. We're not
Yep.
looking at, and a lot of people have never even looked in the mirror that way. So that is your
Yeah.
first assignment. Go stand in front of the mirror and look at who you are.
It's confronting.
It is confronting. And
Like
then,
if you go up to the mirror and you stare right into your eyes and just look into your eyes, it's like, oh,
yes.
yeah.
And then you can do it naked. Like, and then you can look at your body vulnerably. Like that is a whole other step of
Hmm.
really like getting to know who you are, right? It's like,
Yeah.
oh, this is me. And it's like, this is ugly. This is vulnerable. But it's like, is it ugly? Or have we just been taught this is ugly because it
Yeah.
doesn't look like this body? It's like accepting the body as it is. Like, it's so good. Like I love this work. It's vulnerable, but it's so good, right? It's so rewarding.
I think it's also like, let's go back to unconditional love, is like learning to unconditionally love and accept yourself and who you are.
Yes.
All of you, with your holes, without your holes, with your shadows, with your insecurities. Like, I love this part of me and I'm willing to sit with it and learn, like, why do I feel the way that I do?
Right. Rather
Why
than,
do I feel insecure and be honest about it?
right.
I do feel insecure. Like this situation is making me feel small, like I'm not good enough.
And I think like we got to get the ego out of the way because it's like, well, I'm not
Mhm.
insecure. It's like, okay, whoa. It's okay that you're insecure.
Yeah.
Like we have to like stop with this right and wrong. Like, I'm not insecure. I'm not this. I'm not. You're never going to heal as long as you have that narrative that like you can't take ownership for your feelings, right? Owning
Yeah.
that you feel insecure or owning that you feel small or not good enough or unworthy is the basis of really understanding who you are, right? Owning that, just taking ownership, accountability. Maybe you're like, well, now I don't know what to do with that. That's okay. But taking ownership is a really, really good first step.
Absolutely. And I was just gonna say, if you ever find yourself judging somebody
Mm,
or feeling jealous or envious or any of those feelings, that is insecurity.
yes.
That's what that is. So, and like congratulations for figuring it out.
Yeah, no, see, and yeah, it's
Like
great.
amazing. It's good. It's a good thing. Like we have been taught that feeling this way is good and this way is bad. Not that is not true. This is all whole.
Mhm.
You are all whole in all of these feelings because you are human, and that's why you are here on this earth is to feel.
Yes.
And so feeling everything and being like, "Oh, I noticed this. I notice myself feeling jealous." You know? Let's sit with this for a minute. Like, why do I feel that way? Why do I think that I can't also obtain what that person has? Feeling this way is good and this way is bad. Not that is not true. This is all whole.
Mhm.
You are all whole in all of these feelings because you are human, and that's why you are here on this earth is to feel.
Yes.
And so feeling everything and being like, "Oh, I noticed this. I notice myself feeling jealous." You know? Let's sit with this for a minute. Like, why do I feel that way? Why do I think that I can't also obtain what that person has?
Okay, so yeah, I want to ask you guys some questions or share some questions that you can use for yourself to really figure out this journey of self, right? So we often don't ask ourselves these things, and we're taught again that like this is too much, like I'm selfish. I shouldn't talk about these things. We're going to scrap that for today. Today is
Yes.
selfish, and I want you to think of
Yep.
it like not something negative. I want you to use these things for your self-worth rather than, oh my God, I'm selfish. No, we're done with this story of, oh my God, I'm selfish.
But what does that even mean?
Right? It's like,
It's selfish isn't really a thing.
no, it's like,
Well, some
well,
people serve self.
yes, like there are, there are some people that serve self. And again, we've talked about that on the podcast. Like it is what it is. But regardless, I don't care if your service to self, this is it. These are important things to note about who you are. And
Yep.
I think that people who are listening to this podcast probably are not service to self.
Yes.
So, if
Yeah.
you're a human who's like, I'm lacking self-worth, here are some awesome questions to ask yourself. And I want you to really sit with it. And like the first answer, your first answer might be, I don't know. And that's
Yep.
okay. But I
Yep.
want you to sit with yourself until you figure it out. So, question one, what is what is it that you love about yourself? Okay?
Yeah.
And why? And I don't mean I'm a good mom.
Yep.
We're going to get rid of, I'm a good daughter, I'm a good mom. That might be true, right? You can start there if that's all you know, like I'm a good cook. I can clean well. We'll start there, but then I want you to go a level deeper.
Yeah, like your attributes.
Like what do you
Yeah.
love about who you are?
Yeah.
I should change the question to that.
Yeah.
What do you love about who you are, right?
Yeah.
Not like, yes, you might be a good mom, and you are, Krystle, and you are a person
Thank
listening,
you.
right? But it's like, what makes you a good mom?
Yeah. Why are
Because
you a good mom?
are you a good mom? Like those
Hmm.
are the parts I want you to ask yourself. Um, if you can't identify 100% with yourself yet, that's okay. What makes you a good mom? Because I'm caring. Perfect. That's about yourself,
Yep.
right? Because I'm kind, because I'm, you know, I don't know, what would be a
Like
better.
bring it back to self as opposed to because I do everything for them and they're loved. No.
Yes.
Bring it back to self.
Yes. We want this
Yeah.
to be about you.
Yeah.
And then you can ask yourself and, get into it. So, for example, like what is something I like about or I love about myself? I love that I am authentically me all the
Yeah.
time. And
Yep.
that, I don't agree with the way things are. And I love that about myself because it's, I challenge life,
Yeah.
and I love that about myself. It makes me feel empowered. It makes me feel strong, and it helps me to feel like I belong by not belonging.
Yeah.
What's something that you love about yourself?
I was just thinking about this. I love that I let my heart lead. I let my heart lead me. I am very great about following intuition and as opposed to ego and stepping out of my comfort zone, which is not never easy, and following that path that I know is of the highest,
That's beautiful. And that is very much you, right?
which
You,
is authentic as well, I think.
yeah.
Falls into that.
And I mean, it can be about your body, but I'd rather you guys like, I want you to look within. Like, what are,
Mm.
things like for me, another thing would be like, I'm not scared to speak my truth. And although, but it's been challenging for me to speak my truth
Yeah.
because I
Hmm.
always wanted to, but I'm like, oh, I don't know if I can. But I worked through that and I'm like, I really love that about myself that I like push back and I'm like,
Yeah.
truth speaker, even if it takes me
Yeah.
a little bit of time, I do speak the truth.
I am scared to speak my truth, but I do it anyways.
Hmm.
I make myself do it.
Yeah,
And the more we do it, you know, the easier it gets.
exactly. It does.
I'm
Well,
trying,
I mean, I don't
I'm
know.
trying to tell myself
I don't know
that.
if it's easier, but it's just like you're like,
You
well,
become more empowered.
yeah, you're
You
like, if I,
become more empowered.
yeah, you're like if I did it once, I can do it again. That really sucked, but I can do it. I can do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. If you could now, again, I don't want this to be about your body. I want this to be about your personality. Let's just call it
Yeah.
your personality. It's really
Okay.
who you are, but we'll
Yeah.
call it personality if you guys to grasp this better. If you could change anything about yourself, what would it be and why? Now, you don't have to, but if you could,
I would be more adventurous. Feel
well,
like I would like take more opportunity to try new things.
but is that really not who you are? Or is that because you're a mother, a single mother?
It's because I don't make time for it.
Right. So I don't know if that's really who you are.
I failed. Let's rewind. You go first. You go
I wouldn't change
first.
anything.
What?
I
You wouldn't
wouldn't
change
change
anything?
anything. No.
Oh, good for you.
Because anything that I do want to change, I do change.
That's true. Yeah, I probably am in the same. No, I would be more adventurous. Like
Okay.
I would be like stepping more out of like structure into like my actual human design of manifesting generator.
There's your job.
Yep. And I know that. I wrote it down.
Yeah.
It's my job. I'm
It's
gonna
a
play the
job.
guitar.
Crystal, how long has you been trying to play,
I
wanting to play this damn guitar?
know. I don't make time for it. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. What mental qualities do you like about yourself? For example,
Okay.
when I say mental, I mean like and like this is a rough draft, so let's be mindful here, but like what mental qualities? Like what?
Mindful.
No, more like intellectual qualities. So let's get rid of the soul for a second. So I would say like mental qualities would like about your mentality. So like how you think about things. Like um hmm. Like for example, I like how you use your mind. So I'm an overthinker, for example, right?
Yeah.
You're very good at not doing that, right?
Yes.
So I would say my overthinking though is actually a gift because it helps me like that because I'm a writer, right? So I'm like all these possibilities and these things I can conjure up and do all the time, like, and then I use that in my life, and that is like a really good quality that I guess I need to reframe how I wrote that. I would say it's more of like what do you like about how about your mind?
Yeah.
I
There
don't
you
know.
go.
There's a better question.
What do I like that I know that I have control over my thoughts and I'm very good at that. I can like stop my mental chatter very quickly.
Hmm.
And I'm like very aware of it. So I know that thoughts create emotions. And so what I can like gauge how I'm feeling by what I'm thinking about, like my awareness of that
Hmm.
is really on point.
That's beautiful.
I am not an overthinker.
Oh, I like it though. Like
Yeah.
I've learned to befriend it because it has so many positive
Yeah.
qualities about it. Like, yeah, it can get me in trouble.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, I can wear any hat. I can be like, oh, today I am writing up this random letter that like for like a lawyer, or like the next day I'm like, I am writing a cookbook. Like there's like this randomness about me that wear all these different hats, and I can like literally pull shit out of my ass. Like when we were at the airport, I'm like, I was like, I don't know what I said, but Janelle looked at me and she was like, did you just say that word? And I was like, yeah. She's like, what does that even mean? I was like using like accounting lingo, and I just like pulled it out and it was like, and I didn't say divinations, but I don't know what I said, but it was like very off. It was the most
Yeah.
random, like professional word to talk about money. And she was just like, who are you? I'm like, I don't know. Don't know.
It just happened. I love it.
For many hats. I'm a random person. And then this will be the last question. And then like we're gonna bring this back to the body. What do you like about your body? And this is really challenging because I want you guys to stand in the mirror, right? And look
Hmm.
at yourself and and like it is very hard to do this, to look at your body without judgment.
Mm. I love everything about my body.
Oh, so do
I
I.
do. I
So
don't pick anything apart about my body. I'm like, you are a great body.
that's amazing. And here's a hack for anybody that is listening. If you have, like, I have suffered from like body dysmorphia, not in like a major way, but
Me
just,
too.
just like I need to change, I need to be different. And I think we
Hmm.
all do, really, is, and Ariel taught me this, is to thank your body
Hmm.
every day
Yeah.
for something that it's doing.
Yeah.
So if it's just breathing, which it's going to do obviously, but just like, thank you for breathing today, body. I appreciate, give
Hmm.
them gratitude to that. Thank you for working today. Instead of
Yeah.
working, my back hurts, da, 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 putting it down, it's like, thank you for trying your best.
Yeah. Thank you for allowing me the gift of sight or
Yeah,
to be able to taste. Have you ever lost your like your taste?
yes.
And
Or
you
your
eat food and you're
voice.
like, this is awful?
Yes.
Yeah. Gratitude for what is going great.
Yep.
There's always things to be
Always.
grateful for.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
Okay, guys, I hope this was helpful for you. I feel like this wraps up our episode today. And I
Yeah.
want to say thank you guys for listening to my vulnerable share earlier at the beginning.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, if you guys have any questions about, these ways, please write to us. We would love it.
Hmm. Hmm.
On Instagram, or yeah, Instagram's good. We have our handles at the bottom. It's at Miss Morgan Zach and at Krystle.chase with
Hmm.
S's um, in her last name. And yeah,
Yeah.
and we will see you guys next week.
Bye.